Hi, I'm Chris Magwood from the Endeavour Centre, not-for-profit sustainable building school here in Peterborough, Ontario. And I'm going to take you on a tour of a home we built with our class in 2012. And we think that we've built the greenest home in Canada. So let me take you for a tour of the building and show you some of its features. What you'll notice on the south face of the building, which is the side we're looking at now, is a 5 kilowatt solar array up on the top roof. And so that's creating electrical energy out of the sun's energy. And on the lower roof, which is shading the lower windows, are 2 solar hot water panels that produce about 60 to 70% of the annual hot water use of the building as well. You'll also notice that the roofs are designed so that the windows in the summertime are being fully shaded from the sun, but in the wintertime when the sun's lower in the sky, the house will be getting the full benefit of the sunlight coming in those windows. One of the things that we felt was really important with this home was to try to future-proof it as much as possible, to make systems that are very flexible for the future. And so part of that was putting in an electric vehicle charging station so that it's hardwired into the building should that become the way that more and more cars start to power themselves. This house is ready to use that, and it's also being powered from the sun, so it's sort of carbon-free driving should you have an electric vehicle. The front porch is made from locally harvested eastern white cedar that we get from a mill that's quite close by. And part of the living building challenge that we used as a standard for creating the whole house is this idea of being able to knock everything off your shoes on an open grate before you go in the house, because a lot of the toxic things that you bring into a building with you come in from outside on your shoes. Some of the siding on the outside, this is FSC certified pine siding on the lower half, the green stuff, and then locally harvested eastern white cedar shingles on the top half of the house. When you come into the house, there's an airlock vestibule, so it can be closed off from both sides, keeps the heat in the winter time when people are moving in and out, and also allows you to keep your shoes and boots and all the stuff that might be dragging toxic stuff into the building in one particular room. Here in the kitchen, all the cabinetry was made by a local cabinet maker, and all the wood was sourced from FSC sources and has no off-gassing glues or finishes in it, so it's a very healthy, very natural kitchen. It's designed so that all the taps and appliances are very low flow or low energy use. And all through the house, the flooring is all FSC certified maple from the local region as well. So over on this wall is the whole electrical system for the building, and on the left-hand side is the unit that converts the power from DC coming down from the solar panels to AC power so we can sell it back to the grid. So it's doing all the inverting, and it keeps track of that as well. How much you've sold to the grid is tracked there. And then you have the regular household electrical distribution system, and beside that is a triactometer that actively reads the amount of power being used on every circuit in the house and translates that information to a screen upstairs or to the owner's smartphone. And that allows an owner to see exactly how much power is being used, where it's being used in the house, and to maybe be able to modify their use of power to lower it when they can actually see where it's going and what it's being used for. This is the heating source for the building. It's a Mitsubishi Zuba. It's an air source heat pump. So using the same heat pump technology that people would use for geothermal, but it's using the air as the heat source. And so coming down these two lines is hot refrigerant from outside, and it goes through a heat exchanger in here, and the air that's being blown through the plenum is warmed using that. and then the refrigerant is sent back outside to be rewarmed, or in the case of summertime, to be cooled. So this works as an air conditioner in the summer and a heating source in the winter. Another part of the heating system is the energy recovery ventilator. So it's similar to a heat recovery ventilator, except that as well as exchanging the heat from the outgoing air to the incoming air, it's also keeping the moisture from the house air and giving that back to the incoming air. So you're able to get a lot of fresh air into the building without expending a lot of the building's energy doing that. And then this is our Clevis Multrum composting toilet unit. So upstairs in each of the bathrooms, there's a foam flush toilet that uses a tiny amount of water, only 0.1 liter per flush. And then all the waste is brought down into this chamber, and it will spend somewhere between 1 to 2 years inside the chamber composting. And when it's all done, it comes out the front of the unit here and out to the garden or some other place where you want that compost to be used. And on into this room. This is the hot water system for the building. So up front here is a heat exchanger for the solar hot water panels that are outside. So those panels are warming an exchange fluid that's coming in on these pipes into the heat exchanger down below, and that's being used to warm the water in this 40-gallon storage tank. So that's just an insulated tank that holds onto that solar hot water. And as the water leaves the tank, it goes to this on-demand electric heater, and this is a smart smart hot water heater that reads the incoming temperature of the water and only adds as much heat as is required to get the water to that temperature. So if the solar hot water is hot enough, it'll just pass through this heater without kicking it on. If we only need another 10 or 20 degrees added, then this unit knows to just put that much power into warming up that water. So the foundation walls for the whole basement are made from a material called Durasol. It's made in Hamilton, Ontario, and it's an insulated concrete form that uses wood chips in a cement slurry, and inside is Roxel mineral fiber insulation. So they're stacked up more or less like big Lego blocks, and concrete is poured down into the middle of each of those, and it gives you an R28 basement wall without having to build another frame wall inside to get that amount of insulation. There's some material that I could show you that's kind of interesting. So under this basement slab floor is a type of insulation that's unique to this house. It's never been used before. It's from a company called Poraver, and they make expanded glass beads, mostly for the concrete industry. And we used their expanded glass beads and their waste kaolin clay, along with a little bit of lime, to make a structural under slab insulation. So there's 8 inches of that below this whole floor that gives us about an R16 insulation value under the whole building. Okay, so we'll head upstairs now, up the FSC certified wood stairs and to the bedroom floor.
Lots of plants up there.
So one of the things that's common to all the rooms in the house is that every single finish in the building is guaranteed to be non-toxic. So we did a huge amount of research into all the paints, all the coatings, all the finishings for every room throughout the whole house. So in this case, the walls have a milk paint over the straw bale walls. Sometimes it's a natural oil-based paint, clay-based paints, lime-based paints. There's a number of different finishes, but all of them are completely non-toxic to the owners. So when I say milk paint, I mean that the casein molecules, which is the protein in the milk, are used to make the paint. And the casein molecule has a naturally occurring sort of glue-like substance in it. If you break it down with a basic material like lime or borax, that molecule opens up and it makes a very sticky paint. Could be used for glue as well, but it does make a really nice base for a paint, and then you add tints to get whatever color you want. So in the master bedroom, again we have a straw bale wall with a clay finished plaster and milk paints on the walls. And in the ensuite bathroom, be able to see that's the foam flush composting toilet in the corner. So that's the toilet that allows us to use only 0.1 of a liter per flush to get the material down to the composting unit. And then the sinks and the shower heads are all the most low use water flow possible to try to keep down the overall use of water in the house. A 0.1 per liter flush is about half of a kid's lunchbox juice box of worth of water. So it's a very tiny amount of water that's going down the toilet in this place. Thanks for taking a tour of Canada's greenest home, and I hope you enjoyed some of the features that we put in the house and might inspire you to try some of the same things yourself. If you're interested in finding out more, you can find us at endeavourcenter.org.